Immigrated from the single greatest middle place in the Caribbean, Dominican Republic. I love it, Jesus, I'm jealous of it, and beyond that, ever since my folks passed on, I haven't gone back. God damn, I gotta get on that. Oh, the milk is gone, Dad. Hold it just a second. Why is everything in this fridge warm protected?
I'm just setting all this stuff up.
Cause I'm not making any profit. The coffee doesn't like it sweet. Abuela, my fridge broke. I got café, but no con leche.
Try my mother's own recipe. 1 can of condensed milk.
Nice.
Ay, paciencia y fe.
That was Abuela. She's not really my abuela, but she practically raised me. This corner is her escuela now. You probably thinking I'm up Schitt's Creek. I never been north of 96th Street. Well, you must take the A train. Even farther than Harlem to northern Manhattan and maintain. Get off at one.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Check. Hey, Favor, how you doing?
I am doing good.
All right. Can you hear me? Do I sound clear?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I just I bought this new mic, so that's why I'm like, this is the first time I'm using it. So hopefully it sounds good, and hopefully that improves the audio quality. So check this out. For today's episode, what we're just going to be doing today is just talking about ACT, and then just talk about anything that pops up. I do have some questions in mind, but that's what we're going to be doing today, since it was spring break, and then after spring break, I just couldn't. I was out of town, so we couldn't meet. But Favor, it's been 2 weeks since the last time we recorded. What's going on with you? Can you give us an update?
There's nothing too much going on with me. I took the ACT on Tuesday, and we're going back to school. Well, I'm going back to school next week, and Easter's like resuming this week. So, there's nothing much, but yeah.
Okay. What about the 2 weeks that, like, within those 2 weeks? And I'm just because I'm thinking about, like, right now it's like, yeah, what has happened in the last 2 weeks for me? And then, but what's clustered in my head is too, like, the things that have been happening, like, nationally, with, I don't know if you've been hearing about the shootings and, like.
Yeah, I've actually been, I started a project earlier this year about, like, recording everything that happens this year, I guess, kind of like in the mood of 2020 not being able to keep up with, the constant events. So on January 1st, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, like, record, big events that happened this year. And I've recorded so many shootings. I mean, it's been a lot. So yeah, there's been a lot going on in the media and nationally. So the shootings, they really don't stop, especially March and April. It's been a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and I feel like that I've been seeing it too much. I'm like, man, I'm like, what the heck's going on? With, it's just, I don't know what to think. And then, thinking about schools reopening, and, I don't know, sometimes I'm even afraid to say this, but I'm like, sometimes I'm getting a little bit nervous now. Not for, our school, I'll say it, I might get in trouble, but, like, what's been happening in our community, Favor, right? With, like,
yeah, it's a valid concern.
So yeah, shoot. Now this is making me, again, I'm going to stay in my room like a hermit and not coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. But yeah, anyway, like those, I don't know. I was thinking about those 2 weeks. And I'm like, man, it's a lot's been happening, and also trying to, well, obviously reopening has also been in my mind quite a lot. And it's just like, how do you, I guess for me personally, I'm thinking it's how do you justify coming back to the school, everything that's happening, and then how can I say this, that, like, we're being told that we should take time to connect back with the students, right? Instead of, like, bringing more curriculum, instead of, like, like, oh, you got to learn this and that. But it seems like for me that when I'm in different groups planning, it seems that it's not about that. It seems like, okay, we got to get this done. They got to learn this and this and that. And I'm trying in my head, well, how, I don't know. I guess then I can ask you a favor, like how would you feel coming into that kind of space?
I would feel terrible actually. Um, Having to like switch back into virtual after not being in the building for over a year and then having a lot of stuff thrown at you, it's gonna be really hard. And I feel like a lot of people, because of that, are gonna like choose the option to switch online, or even if they don't do it officially, they're just like gonna stop coming to school because it's
Mhm.
hard enough to be online anyway. But like at least um learning online, we've kind of gotten the hang of it. So being in the comfort of your home, it's going to be less stressful than coming back into school, being forced to social distance and seeing your friends that you haven't seen in a year, but not being able to even talk to them, and then having a bunch of new work thrown at you. I would hate coming back into that type of environment, to be honest. Yeah.
So then, favor. So then, what kind of advice would you give me to like instead of like doing all that? I'm a pause, but what kind of activities like do you feel students would like want to engage in, like both in at home and virtual and in person? Like how can we get like the students to talk to each other, to basically communicate as a class?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know how much we could do with like the students that are in person and online, because having to accommodate for the students online, we can't like I would say like go outside so that we could like have even more social distance and like play like some type of game, because like in the classroom obviously you can't really spread out that much. So but with the students online, that's going to be harder because we can't really take all that technology outside. So I don't really know. Maybe like a scavenger hunt of some sorts, but it would take a lot of like planning and accommodation for the two halves of the class.
Or it could be something like those at home can look for something at home, and like
Yeah.
those that are in class can look something in their backpack.
Hmm. Yeah.
But going back to your idea of like outside, I had something similar in mind. The only thing that I would just need, because Zoom, since we have to have classes over Zoom, I can do it on my phone, and since I have like the cellular data, so whether we have Wi-Fi or not, I can still log in.
Hmm.
But I was thinking that like, what if like students use their, how you can like call in with your
Yeah.
cell phone?
Yeah.
One idea was like, so if I do that and then have you all call in, but even the students that are in person, they need to bring a cell phone
Hmm.
to call in, but then doing a breakout room and putting you with a partner who's
Hmm.
virtual, and then like we'll basically just walk around the entire block of East and just talking to each other and getting to know a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Okay. Um, the question is, what do we do if there's a student that doesn't have a cell phone? They
See,
can't.
that's the real question. That's the real. I don't know. Um, yeah, your computer is kind of hard to carry around the block, and you don't got
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi out there. So, oh, I don't. Maybe students who don't have phones can like partner up with students who do have phones, like in person. So like the students at home would like be on their computer or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay,
then like if we were in person, then somebody can partner up with somebody who does have a phone, and like
got
it'll
it.
be a little
And then
bridge.
maybe one can hold the phone like
Yeah.
on a speaker or something.
Hmm.
They can talk. Okay, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that one down in detail. But yeah, so I guess we were gonna talk about the ACT. I forgot about that. I know we went on a rabbit hole. Um, but you also during those 2 weeks you took the ACT, which happened on April 13th. Can you let us know a little bit more about that? Like, how did it go? What did you do to prep for it? And did it help?
Um, the prepping, I used the official ACT website, and during class we did like in English class we would do like reading and writing. In math, she gave us math problems. In science, we did science problems, and then in social studies, we did more reading. So overall, it was all right. Um, the math really whooped me though, because it was mostly calculus, and I don't do calculus. So I was like, "What is this?" But I made sure to not leave any questions unanswered. That was like the main tip that I got. That you're not going to be penalized for guessing, but you will be penalized for leaving questions unanswered. So no matter what, even if I was running out of time, I just bubbled in random answers and hoped they were right. It was like there were outside factors that made the test harder, but like overall it wasn't too bad.
Okay. And I mean, it's okay to say those outside factors, I don't think you'll get in trouble. Can I say it for you?
Okay, well, yeah, it was really, really cold. Like in our room, we were on like the farthest side of the building, and that day it was like 43 degrees outside. And for some reason, like the windows were open and there was like fans on. And I thought that I dressed warm enough, but obviously not. So I was like very cold, like feet cold, hands cold, face cold. And during the entire exam, like I just kept getting colder and colder. And by the time we got to the writing exam, which was at the end where we had to write the essay, like I couldn't feel my hands. So I felt like I was getting frostbite or something like that. It was really cold. I couldn't feel my hands, so I had to like keep like opening and closing my hands so I could like grab my pencil. So I was like really rushing to get the essay done because I knew what I was gonna say in my head, but like actually writing it really took a lot of effort because my hands were that cold.
Yeah, and like the building, our school building, apparently, like there was something wrong with the boiler or something, and like yeah, that they were just gonna fix it in order to bring heat up to the rooms. But yeah, it definitely was super cold, and I think we were able to go home. They sent out a all staff emails like, "Hey, go home. It's cold." So if it was cold that day that we were in, I can just imagine during the ACT.
Yeah. I during the break, I turned to my friends. I was like, "Are you guys cold?" And they're like, "I'm freezing." I was like, "Thank God I'm not the only one." Like, I thought because I get cold easily, so I was like, maybe it's just me. But I turned to them. They're like, "It's really cold in here," and I was like, "Okay then, all right." It was colder. It was warmer in the hallways than inside our room, so I was very surprised.
Man, it's crazy. And not only is that crazy, and I don't think people are gonna know because I don't think a lot of people know since this just broke yesterday, but there was also a positive COVID case on that day for our school. And I think you and I favor were talking about that like before
Mhm.
going live. Um, so yeah, and how do you feel about that news?
Um, I'm not like freaking out about it or anything. It's inevitable at this point since, the higher ups want us in the building that badly that they would, plop us back in the building 2 months before we're done with school. So, it's just a part of the process, I guess. There was no way that there wasn't gonna be a COVID case from somewhere, staff, student, it was no way that there wasn't going to be a COVID case, and it happened to come during the ACT. So, I mean, if they wanted us back in there, they got to deal with, cause and effect.
You're right. I agree. Again, I'm just gonna try to just sit back, relax, try to follow the rules and be like, hey, if another case, like I did my part. But okay. Well, thank you for that. All your input. Um, I don't know what advice would you give yourself for the next and prepping for the next SAT for the second time around? or if you're going to take it the second time around?
I actually haven't decided if I want to take it the second time around, but if I do decide, I am gonna wear like layers. Like I'm really gonna layer up, and then I'm gonna really study the math section like a lot more, maybe even only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and for the folks that are in your position for the ACT, or who there are actually some that actually haven't even taken the ACT. What advice, besides layering up, or hopefully that they're in a school that they don't have a temperature issue, what advice would you give in regards to like how to tackle the exam for their first time around?
In general, I would say speed read. Like especially during the reading exam, you better go fast. Like you need to go really, really fast. Usually, I think what worked best for me was to either like scan the passage really quick and like underline anything that you think that you might need later, or read the questions first and then look for like the place where it specifically mentions whatever you need to answer. But other than that, like you really don't have time to fully read the passage. And like usually at the end it'll have a question about like the entire passage, and then I
Mhm.
went, oh, now I have to read like the whole passage.
Mm,
So if you like read really fast and answer all the other questions, then maybe you'll have enough time to like go back and like read a little bit slower to like get like the tone of the passage, for example. So you just have to go fast because time goes really, really fast, especially like during like I think the writing and not the writing, the reading and the science, you get like 35 minutes. It goes so fast. It goes so fast. So you have to really speed it up. And I think that's like part of the thing that they test, like your actual test taking skills, not even just getting the answers right.
mhm,
So I think like you have to like do like practice tests. Like what I did was during the writing exam, I did like the um 35 minutes, and then like I got like an ACT writing question, and I like cranked out an essay in 35 minutes. So like time
mhm.
yourself on those types of tests and like see where you need to improve and see what you need to do to get faster.
No, that's a really good advice. All good advice. Um, and it's one of those things like I had to practice like reading, like you said, like reading faster. Like when I started reading, like or because I read at a certain pace, but then like when you take the ACT, it's like you said, it's faster. You have to like learn to pick it up quickly, and at the same time, the crazy thing, it's like you're also trying to process what you're reading quickly, and then you get a question asked, and then now you have to like, it's crazy how the brain is kind of like working, you
Mm-hmm.
know, during the test.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, well, let's see. Let me check this out. Um, One thing that I was thinking of doing, I'm gonna try it here. So apparently, let's see. Well, I was gonna put some meditation music, but I'm trying to figure out where the tab is. But apparently, like for the mind to de-stress, just meditating like about maybe 5 minutes a day, can help lower your stress. And I was gonna say, favor, have you ever done like meditation practices?
I try, but like they don't really work. Like I
Okay.
do meditation to like sleep, but barely.
So you're saying that it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Like I think it works for me in the sense that like, because it lets me like just sit back and just process what happened throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that, it's just like letting it go. It's like, okay, tomorrow is another day where you can like let those actions affect you, or maybe how you can like work on those like actions for, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I was gonna say like, let's try, we've talked about all these things, the SATs and everything. Let's see, can we do a 1 minute meditation and then talk about kind of like, you know, what went through your mind and like how you tried to de-stress.
All right.
All right, let's give this a try. A minute. All right, so that was a minute. So favor,
That
how
was
do you
quick.
it was right? Yeah, actually it did. I was like, man, it's already a minute. But how do you feel now? How does like your brain feel?
I feel a little bit better.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, yeah, same here actually. Like I felt a little bit more like as it was playing, like my thoughts were just like, all right, like, it's like the week you got to do this, this, and that. And it was
Mhm.
like putting things in like compartments of like, okay, you got to do this today in order to get this done for the week.
Mhm.
But what about you? What was going through your mind?
I was just thinking about, stressing about my score and how at the end of the day it really doesn't matter. And colleges aren't requiring you to study your scores. So no matter what, I shouldn't let it affect me.
Boom. I love all that. Actually, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
You are more than a number, right?
Yeah.
Um, actually, when do you all get your scores?
Um, they said 5 to 8 weeks, but I think that you can just look at it online in like the next 2 weeks or something like that.
Oh man. Okay.
But I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to let me know when that drops, so we can see the numbers. I would, you know, well, I don't know if you want. Some people have. There's actually, you know what? There's people that don't share the numbers, and there's people that do. So you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm gonna respect like if, but just let me know when it's out, so we can so I can ask the class,
All right.
and see if people who are willing to share.
All right. Cool.
I'll pull mine up too. I'll look it up, see if I can find my score, but it wasn't the greatest. So you
Oh.
probably you scored higher than me.
Oh no.
um, but all right. Well, actually, so since it is free topic favor, is there any topic that you want to cover or anything you want to talk about?
I don't really know. I haven't really been thinking about it.
Okay. Because I do have topics that I can talk about, but I don't know. Have you seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
I have a lot of questions and I have a lot of things that we can like. Do you want to jump into that conversation?
Absolutely.
Well, first, like, what did man? I don't even know where to start. It's a crazy episode, and that there's even one more. I'm like, okay, that last one is gonna be. I'm gonna wait till it drops because this last time I saw it, I just barely saw it like a couple hours
Mhm,
ago. So
mhm.
because I got busy, but this next one I'm gonna as soon as it comes out. Um,
All right.
but what did you think? Like what there's so much symbolism there, there's so much going on. Like
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Um, First of all, these episodes just get better and better. Like every episode is better than the last one, which is crazy to me because I was like, how could they top episode 4?
Right.
But it just keeps getting better and better. And then a lot of people last episode after like listening to all the analysis, they were like, it's not about race. Stop making everything about race. And to those people, I'm just like, just admit that you're racist and go. It like they're just taking a lot of steps to say that they're racist. This show is obviously like very, very
Right.
from
Right.
from the very, very first episode, it's like obviously surrounding race and the many different controversial issues that's going on in our country right now. So for them to like continue to say that it's not about race is baffling, but it's also understandable because they are racist and they either know and don't want to admit it, or they don't know and they just think that, oh, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. And I feel like you should be able to think critically for yourself instead of um listening to what other people have to say. Um
Put a little sizzle on that one.
yeah. And then again, wow, okay, there was a lot.
It was, and actually, like,
Um
I'm just gonna quickly, can I just chime in on that comment that you
mhm,
talked about, like, like those that folks that are saying it's like it's not about race. It's like,
mhm,
first of all, like, you also have to look like this show, like this episode, like the series here has been trying to do, I feel like it's handling it beautifully and
mhm,
trying to like maybe like heal this racial problem that's going on in America. And I don't know if like people can see that's like,
yeah.
especially with the developments of the interviews with the experimented, the 300,
Mhm.
was it 399?
I don't know the number exactly.
But it was like 300 plus, African American soldiers, right? Or men,
Mhm,
or they were experimented on. And it's kind of like, for those folks that don't know the true history or stuff that's happened, like people of color, specifically black folks, they have been
mhm,
tested on, you know.
yeah.
I don't know, there's so
And
much.
and like during that part that Isaiah was talking, I my jaw was on the ground. I was like, Marvel, hats off to you. Like they really don't care. Because a lot of other people, they're like, we don't want to they call it politics. We don't want to get into politics. We don't want to talk about controversial things. No, Marvel is all out there. They're like, this happened, we're gonna talk about it. Like you
Hmm.
wouldn't think that a big company like that would shed light on such controversial issues, but they're like, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Are you surprised? And I'm like, yes, very much so.
I 100, and I'm glad that you said that. I just like, sometimes I feel bad giving like positive shout outs to big corporations because I'm like, you know what, I don't want to give them more money,
Mhm.
but I'm like, babe, you
Yeah,
said
no,
it, like, big,
they're
actually
doing a
you're
good
right. They
job.
are, they're doing an amazing job. And I'm like, that's like when I was watching these episodes, I'm like, am I interpreting it like, I'm like, wait, no, maybe I'm reading too much into it, like, no. And I'm like, no, actually
Yeah,
Marvel is doing this. And I'm like,
they're
and at the same time, I'm also giving credit for Disney Plus too, that
yeah.
to let it like stream, and like letting it,
Hmm.
because Disney could
They're
just
doing
easily
it
would have.
very big, very bold. And like people
Mhm,
kept on saying like it's really not that deep. But I mean the first episode, they talked about black people getting loans, black people
mhm,
being racially profiled. I mean, it was right out there in your face. I was like, wow, like they are really not scared.
mhm.
They
And maybe it's not deep for them, in terms of like the loan, like, not that I'm trying to like defend,
Mhm.
but it's like that maybe that's the problem. There you go. It's that because you don't experience that, you don't live that.
Yeah.
For you, it's not deep because
Mhm.
it's like, for now we're seeing it on TV,
Yeah, as soon as
finally.
you've never experienced it before, suddenly it doesn't exist.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, again, this episode, this series, it's so amazing, and I'm just glad there's one more. What what is the, or I guess, what do you want to, where do you want to focus on in terms of like this? Because I also want to talk about, I want to ask, what do you think is his suit's going to look like?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I I don't want it to look like Steve's. I don't think he would look good in that. But I'm not. Hmm. I'm really not sure. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be surprised,
Okay.
but I don't know what would look good on him. Maybe something that resembles his Falcon suit, but like it has like a Captain America design.
What did you think of those colors that he was wearing, like that dark red, dark like bluish, like on
Hmm.
the t-shirt?
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
Because that's what I'm thinking, like the suit color. That's what I'm thinking it's gonna be like.
Hmm.
And then I don't know if you've seen the toys where it's like the Captain America toy, like the Falcon Captain America, where he has like wings.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That's kind of what I'm maybe anticipating, but I don't know
Yeah.
if he's gonna have the goggles or not, or I don't know.
I hope they incorporate some of his Falcon suit into there, but like
Mhm.
make it completely different, I
Mhm.
guess. But yeah.
And that's what I like. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, like the surprise, because like how like Marvel's also like sometimes they can change an entire you know design or outfit, like a whole complete new one. So I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna trick like because it's coming from Wakanda, right? So
Hmm.
I don't know. Like maybe they're gonna add like a pretty dope different design. And
Honestly, because it was Wakanda, I wanted it to be like black and gold, like Bucky's arm.
mhm,
But I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. Like that's why I'm excited. We'll see. And also like for me,
Mhm.
that connection that like his body armor, his suit is coming from Wakanda, and it's like
Yeah.
given to the first, we're gonna have the first black Captain America in the next
Hmm.
episode. And it's kind of like uh, you know, I don't know. I think it's like just the tribute also to the late, I'm also thinking about Chad and his role and,
Hmm.
and, and Black Panther. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some things that like you're going to be looking forward in the next episode?
What am I gonna look forward to? I obviously am gonna look forward to seeing Sam in this new suit as, Captain America. Um, I'm looking forward to see what they do with the Flag Smashers because I
Oh,
honestly liked them at first. I liked their idea, but
mhm,
just like many, many other villains, their execution is very, very wrong.
mm,
But I one thing I actually noticed about them is like they're like Hydra in some sorts, where they're like everywhere. Like they're
mhm,
everywhere, but like they're like bigger than Hydra because Hydra was like, oh, government officials, blah 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 blah. But like these are like regular civilians anywhere and everywhere, ready
mm,
to fight for this cause. I don't think that they're ever gonna truly defeat them, which is something that I want to see them pop up in future MCU projects.
mm.
Just like, oh, more Flag Smasher stuff, never gonna go away. And then for Bucky, I kind of want him to like find peace, I guess. I mean, it's like this is obviously not going to be like a long term. It's not like a long term. This show happened over not that long. But like I want him and Sam to like become true friends, and I want him to like, actually settle down and like find peace. Cuz in the first episode, he was telling his therapist
Oh shoot, favor. I think you cut out. Hold up.
like, he really doesn't want to do this forever. I hope that he can just find a family, find people who are his. And I feel like he's going to find that with Sam, even though he definitely doesn't want to acknowledge that. But Sam, that's his boy. That's his like friend. That's the only person he has left, honestly. So I just want him to like chill. Like, you know. So, in general, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be surprised, but we'll see.
That's what I'm yeah, I think there might, I don't know. I'm gonna wait for the end of the credits also to see what they throw in there.
Hmm.
Because did you stay for the end of the credits for this?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
boy has lost his mind.
Yeah, right.
Ooh. And also, John's whole story shows a lot of white privilege. He gets to kill somebody on foreign soil representing America, like blatantly representing America, tarnishing Captain America's shield, which has been a symbol of greatness and hope for over 70 years. Like, really brutally murder somebody in broad daylight, somebody who didn't do the crime that you accused him of. And then he basically went scot free. And people are going to be like, but he lost his benefits and he was striped of the, and he
To
didn't get
live.
thrown in jail and he wasn't killed. He just, they were just like, okay, John, you don't get to be Captain America anymore, and we're not going to pay you for the years of service you did. Okay. And he got to disrespect all those people and walk right out without, nothing. And he was just, doing whatever he wants. Let's see if the roles were reversed. Yup. If Sam did the same thing, I would be surprised if some people didn't bust in and really, like, shoot him. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't treated like Isaiah Bradley, thrown behind bars for 30 years, forgotten about. Because you really, like, he really, like, tarnished America. And I mean, America's already tarnished, but you know what I mean. Like, he
Hmm.
used the shield, big flag right on there, and he
Hmm.
killed the guy. I'm like, what's going through your head right now? Like,
Hmm.
in public, I mean, all these people recording, and he still was like, I'm Captain America, shield's mine. I mean, he has it in his head so deeply that he's creating his own shield. I mean,
Yeah.
like, he believes that Captain America is his calling, and he's nothing if he's not Captain America, and if he's not a super soldier. Because in episode 4, when the Dora Milaje rightfully whooped him, he was like, they aren't even super soldiers. Like, he was so surprised, and he felt like he needed to take that serum in order
Hmm.
to, you know, feel
This.
that power and to be above them. But in the first Avenger, Dr. Erskine was like, the serum amplifies everything that's inside.
Hmm.
Good becomes great and bad becomes worse. John was already bad and now he's lost his mind.
Hmm.
Whoa.
No, yeah, and to me it reminds me a lot like of like manifest destiny, or in a way of kind of like this imperialism, or of like you got to put your foot on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
to gain power, and then like at all means.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if you remember that interaction when he was like, "You all made me do this." Like he kept saying that, and
Mm-hmm.
he was just saying that like I was just following orders,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like, um, like he was also arguing, saying like these are the rules that you made. I'm just following those rules, and I'm like, uh, killing, like in that instance.
Right. Ain't nobody made you kill him,
Hmm.
to be honest. I mean, he was following their rules, and that's another, America, they always, but at the end of the day, nobody forced you to dang near decapitate old dude in public. The guy
Hmm.
that looked up to Captain America finds death by Captain America's shield. Now that's ironic.
Yeah, tainting the shield with blood, and then like I don't know if like that
Yeah.
whole scene also too, like Sam looking at the shield, is just like you could tell it's like there's blood on the
Hmm.
shield. Like I don't know, you can just see
And
that.
that shield was like it's a defensive, like, shield. Steve chose it as a means to, like, defend himself and to defend others and to defend America, and but for him to use it as an offensive weapon and to kill somebody, you seen the look on Bucky's face. He was about ready to rip his head off, and I don't
Mhm.
blame him.
Yeah. In terms about when you said about Bucky finding peace, um, what did you think of like I don't know, like you know how you said like becoming buddy buddy with Sam and like being his boy, but there was like those little like hidden like he was flirting with his sister or not.
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I ship so hard. I mean, during those scenes, the amount of serotonin, oh, that was you could see some hints of 40s Bucky, you know, old flirt that took girls to technology conventions. I mean, oh my god. Hi, Sarah. I was like, yes, yes. I want them together so bad, like so bad, like more than anything else, more than anything else. I feel like they would be so good for each other. They are so cute, and Sarah is
Last
so
episode, maybe, you know?
yeah, yeah. I really, oh my gosh, like he was hardcore, like yeah, starstruck. I was like, wow.
Well, I don't know if you saw when he was like sleeping in the couch and then he saw like the kids playing. He tried, you know, he tried to do like a
Mm-hmm.
say hi. The kids ignored him though, but
Yeah, like, and during that part, you know what I noticed? I noticed he was sleeping on the couch.
Mhm.
Love that for him.
Not on the floor.
Not on the floor. That's a sign of growth.
Right. Yeah.
That's a sign, if any, that's a sign of growth. It may not be big, but growth is growth.
Mhm.
And I'm happy that he stopped sleeping on the floor, you know? So I'm just, oh, you know what I just realized?
What up? What up?
Last episode, I have a feeling that Bucky's gonna go back and make amends, actual amends with Mr. Nakajima. Because remember the first episode, they're like, we find out that he killed his son, and
Mm-hmm.
episode 5, Sam's like, you were avenging, you weren't actually making amends. So I think he's gonna like go back to the start and actually like tell him and try to make things right. Even
Mm-hmm.
though I'm not the one who killed his son, I'm still very nervous. Like, I don't know why this happens with me. Like, I'm very like scared. I'm scared of his reaction. I'm scared of what's gonna happen. So I actually feel nervous for like the moment where he tells him. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna happen. I know like it's just a show and it's gonna like
Mm-hmm.
probably end up all right. But I'm like very like anxious for this to go down.
Well, I agree with you with that 100%. And the reason behind that too, it's like I want to see how like again, where we're talking about like Marvel just tackling things,
Mm-hmm.
like I see how they handle this. And you know, it's like something like obviously I haven't killed somebody's son or something, but it's like I think you can sort of so almost relate to something like that when you're like anxious about what's gonna happen. Like maybe at least personally for me, where I had like the best, you know, where I have a best friend or had a best friend where like you might have done something that's going to really
Mm-hmm.
affect them and you're like, oh, I don't know how to tell you, and you're
Yeah.
and you're trying to find the right time, and
Mm-hmm.
then when you finally have that conversation it's like, you know, so that's kind of like where I'm at, like
Yeah.
it's going to go something like that.
Yeah. I really feel bad for that old man. Dang. What if he gets back home and he finds out that he died? Because remember the first time they were looking in the newspaper and looking at all the people that were like dying, and they're like, oh, he was 70 something, so young. And what if he like goes
Mhm.
back and like finds out that he died? That's gonna be so rough. Ooh.
Right, because then you don't get
He never
closure.
gets to like make, oh, oh,
Damn, that's a
not
that,
bad.
but then see, but then if you do that, then I feel that's like a not like a cop out to like not cover that.
Yeah. Because I feel like either he's like gonna find out that he died and he's gonna be sad that he never got closure, and then he's gonna like spend the rest of his life trying to make it up for him, like maybe like
Mhm.
visiting the rest of his family or like visiting visiting his grave on the weekends and bringing flowers or something like that. Or he's gonna like find out, okay, he's all good and fine, and like I don't know, they're gonna have the talk, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or maybe him standing in front of his grave and telling him, um,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
different. Oh my gosh.
yeah, like again, there's like so much. And then there's also, one thing, I don't know if you noticed for Danny and the wings,
Mm-hmm.
when Falcon was like, you keep them.
Yeah, that's the
So,
next problem right there. He's gonna pick them up, and he's next thing you know, flying through the sky. And you're like,
right.
her. We only saw him in 2 episodes, and he's already one of my favorite characters. There's no way, or there's no reason why he should have been in only 2 episodes.
I agree.
His help finding the flag smashers at first, he should have been there every step of the way. Yeah,
True, right? Yeah.
kind of sad about that. I like seeing his face. I'm not even gonna lie. It's like, hard,
He's got a
controversial topics and staring and mean people, and then just like a nice, friendly face. You know?
no, for sure. I 100% agree, actually. And I'm excited because we're gonna have a Latino Falcon,
For sure. We love diversity.
Shoot.
We stand diversity in this house.
For real, for real. One thing
Yeah.
that like this is not Marvel, it's DC. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Hey man, I'm waiting for Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes.
LOL.
It's like somebody do a script of the Blue Beetle and then y'all can cast me.
He's
Nah,
waiting to get out of Madison. Cast him, please.
right. No, it's just like that's one of my favorite superheroes, Blue
Yeah.
Beetle. But that's why in my head I'm like, man, Danny could be a good Jaimito Reyes if he ever crosses over. I would definitely cast him. Well, shoot. Well, favor. What else? What else should we cover? I know we talked about a lot about the Falcon. We can keep talking about it. We can even go deeper in terms of like, how we were talking about earlier with race and covered in that whole theme. Or where do you want to go?
It's up to you. I have no ideas.
Okay. Well, let's see. I think we covered quite a bit on that show. I still need to. I think I'm probably gonna rewatch it again and see if I missed certain things. For some
Yeah,
reason,
I
like
usually watch the episode at least twice.
I've been only watching it once. Like when WandaVision came out, it's like just run it through once. But this one, I wanna check it out because there was also. Did you see? And I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like in the boat, there was some numbers carved as like you're walking down on the ladder. There were some numbers carved behind the wood, and I don't know. I just
Really?
wondered. Yeah,
Oh, now
yeah.
I have to
So
go watch it again.
yeah, so that's kind of like the stuff that I like look for. I'm like, okay, what is these little numbers, or is this an Easter egg?
Yeah, because Marvel doesn't do anything for no reason. So,
Yeah, so look out for that and see, or maybe it just happens to be there. It has no significance. Um, but yeah, no, like I don't think I have any other questions that come in mind. One, thank you for coming out or today and reminding me, especially since like I left the beans cooking on the pot.
no problem.
But thank you, Favor, for always being there. And I don't know what topic should we cover next week for next week's episode, and so I can prepare.
Dang, next week's episode. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things.
Well, by next week, you would have had your first full in-person school experience.
Dang.
You would have maybe hopefully ran into some friends.
Dang. That's really gonna happen.
and that's on the on micro, right? Micro.
Hmm.
And the macro, who knows what's going to happen in terms
Who
of,
knows?
right. So
Mm.
we can even cover a lot.
Speaking of macro, you heard about Biden ending the war?
In Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear about
I
that.
told my mom, he was like, we're ending the longest war in America. And I was like, did you know that America is at war with itself? Hmm? Did you know that? We should end the war with ourselves also.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, this country has been at war with itself. We need to end that too.
Yeah, since its foundation.
Yeah.
Man, I do like that. And then even talking, I know that so there's so much to cover because I know that like if we want to dig deep into ending that war, then we can even talk about well what's going to happen in Afghanistan in the Middle East, and then some folks are even for them to pull out. There's even talks about like different factions coming back in and trying to get a hold
Mhm.
and control of power in that region.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But in terms of like I guess globally the United States, what do you think the United States should be focusing on globally?
Honestly, I dang. Um there's too much. There's too much. Globally, I guess the most important like thing right now is to like this pandemic. We can't really do much.
Mhm.
We are, worrying about a virus is going around. You know what I mean? But as I always say about anything, that like you gotta worry about yourself before you like try to worry about other things or other people. So that
Okay.
goes for like yourself individually, your family, your country. If you got problems in your own personal life, you can't be trying to fix somebody else's problems or like looking at other people's problems. If you got a problem in your family, you can't be looking at other people's family and try to fix their family. If you got a problem in your school, you can't try to fix other people's schools. If you have a problem or many problems, in our case, in your country, you can't really try to fix other people's problems until you got your own, business under control. Then you can go out there and like try to get in other people's business, you know?
I I hear you, and I think that's a beautiful reminder, especially for those folks who are at the top. Those folks who are in places of power. At least for me, it's like,
Mhm.
hey, if you're trying to help out, reflect. You got problems at home.
Yeah, you can't be like out there like people should have equal rights when people back home are telling you the same thing and you're not listening.
Right. Taking away the right to vote and whatnot, or making it harder.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, no, it's a good reminder. And I mean, for me, it's also one of those things where it's like you just made me like reflect back, and also just like as students are coming in, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like you can't, I'm not in terms of like policing, it's like you got to make sure that like, I guess that for me as a teacher, it's like you're not going to tell a student, oh, you're not going to amount to this, or it's like you don't know what problems that student's coming into the classroom with. And it's like,
Hmm.
why would I want to add more and maybe try to
Right.
help that student? Like, how do you tackle those
Hmm.
problems that you're kind of like dealing with?
Yeah.
So yeah, so thank you for that. But man, So we'll figure it out. We'll find some topics to cover, and then we'll throw it all together. But I think this was a great episode, like for us back after 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Is there any highlights from your spring break?
No, I tried not to think about school. I thought about school anyway, but
Oh man.
I slept. I read a book for class, and
Mhm.
that's basically it.
Okay. What book did you read?
It's called The Dream of Ding Village. We're reading it for AP Lang.
Okay. The Dream of what?
Ding Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's pretty sad right now. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be way farther than I am, but as soon as I have to read a book as an assignment, suddenly I don't know how to read. But
Find the audiobook.
right. In every other circumstance, I can read a 500-page book in a good day and a half, but as soon as it's assigned, suddenly I don't know English anymore.
Right. I know. I 100%. I know that feeling. Like you start
Yeah.
reading, and I'm like, why am I falling asleep with this book right now?
Right. I thought I was gonna finish it real fast, but 1 week, 2 weeks go by, I'm still on page 38. Uh-uh.
Oh man, the books that I hated reading when they would assign, it's like the books with those like old yellow pages and those dark, thick
Mm,
letter fonts. And
yeah,
then it's like 300 plus, I'm
right.
like,
The
oh
only
my
time I
God.
can read a book for class truly is when they tell us not to read past a certain point, and then I'm gonna read past. Like in eighth grade, we read Copper Sun,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, we're gonna read like one chapter as a class, and we were supposed to take like I think like a month to read it,
Mm-hmm.
and I finished it in 3 days. And I told my teacher, I finished the book.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just did like projects on it for a good month while everybody else was like slowly finishing up the book.
I was
And
like,
when
y'all better catch up to me.
yeah, they were like, don't read past this page. I definitely finished the book. I was like, yeah, this is interesting and I'm gonna read it on my own time. And in freshman year when we read um To Kill a Mockingbird,
Mm-hmm.
finished that one up too. Yup. We were reading it out loud and they were like, don't read past this. I'm like, I'm definitely gonna read past that.
Got it. Well, what I took out of that favor is like now I know the little trick. I'm just gonna say to everybody, just read the first page, so then y'all can read the entire book.
Right, but if it's not an interesting book, then it's gonna be hard.
God, no, yeah,
Yeah, so you better pick like a nice, interesting book.
for sure.
Action, scary. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen because all the books that I've been reading, they're all like historical fiction. So
Yeah,
yeah, I need to start like looking into other books that just like
yeah. Most of the ones I read are nonfiction because that's those are the books that can keep my attention. As soon
mhm.
as it's like talking about some facts, whew, my attention span it's not that long. So like ever since like middle school, I only read like nonfiction books like for fun.
Mhm.
That's usually what I do so I can actually like read it. Otherwise, yeah, as soon if it's interesting, any number of pages, I'll finish it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. I think the last book that I read that was like that was pretty cool. That was like I wouldn't even say I didn't even take it as a history reading, but it kind of was because it was like the history of kind of like growing up in Los Angeles or in East LA.
Mhm.
It's this book called Always Running. And I
Mhm.
think the author, I think his name is Jose. Oh my God, I'm blanking out on the author, but it was just a really great book that just like it takes you back. It takes you back growing up,
Mhm.
like, or it takes you back to your neighborhood, and it's like, oh man, like you just connect so much with that book that you just like finish it, and I don't know, for me, I'm like, oh, I'm left with wanting to read some more,
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
If you have time, feel free to check that one out.
All right.
Let me look up. Now it's gonna bug me, so I'm gonna have to like look up the author of all. Oh, yeah, Luis Rodriguez.
All right.
But yeah, no. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try to find some interesting books and see what I could recommend for the class to read for ethnic studies or Avid and Chicano Latino studies.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, Favor. Let's see. We're gonna end the stream. What are your last words? Your last thoughts for folks for the week? What do you want them to take away?
It's a lot going on in the world right now, especially in our country. It's traumatic and it's very stressful to see. So feel free to put down your phone and not have to deal with any of it, honestly, because it will weigh on your mental health and you don't want that going into the week. So yeah, that's what I did, especially with the Derek Chauvin trial. I did not follow it at all. Like I read the updates and stuff, but I didn't
Mhm.
sit through it because it was really gonna affect my mental health. So feel free to like just not be on social media and don't feel the need to like explain yourself to anybody. It's your life and you're looking out for your own health. So don't try to like make excuses and be like, oh yeah, well I wasn't on there. No, feel free to take care of yourself.
You know what? I'm on board. I'm 100% support that, and I agree with you. Like I've been, excuse me, I've been following it the trial because it's like I got other things that not that that's not important to me. It's like if I start focusing on that, it's gonna seep in through and let it affect me, like in your closer radius of like your workspace. So I'm like, you know what, just I'm gonna let it develop and see. And at least for me, I'll start paying attention closer to the end. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I 100% agree with everything you said. So
Yeah,
thank you for that favor.
no
Um,
problem.
and before we sign off, I just want to quickly remind folks that we're going to upload this episode on podcast and it's going to be available by 8 o'clock. Also, tune in next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. That's when we record it, and we'll figure out what the next topic is. But if you have any recommendations, you can email me, direct message me, and if you want to be a part of the show as well or part of the podcast, let me know, and we'll love to have some more folks. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're talking about keeping positive vibes and like de-stressing, we're gonna end the show with this what is called 432 hertz miracle tone, so we can close our eyes and then think about the whole rest of the week in a positive way.